Warm sun, feed me up and I'm leery. Loaded up, loathing for a change, and I slip some, boil away, swallowed, followed, heavy about everything but my love.
Hey, this is CSQUARE for the Invisible Wires podcast, and we are here at another Wednesday night, hump day, another camel to ride into the weekend, and we are going to bring
Did you say camel to ride?
Another camel toe to ride
Okay.
into the weekend. And we have got some individuals here that I would like to call friends, compatriots, and brothers in, it is Odin's Day, in Odin's love. And we've got the Sandman.
How's it going, everybody? Good to be here, as always.
We've got the Rabbit.
What's crack-a-lackin' Invisible Wires world?
Oh, I thought that was funny. We've got
It's good to be back with my bros.
For some reason that sounded like a baby crying. That's that.
Hey, babies cry in Persia, man.
They do,
And run.
man. Yeah,
That'd be a good song title. Babies cry.
Babies. Why is it a country
Babies
song?
cry in Persia.
I'm on it tonight.
Babies cry in person like they do in Alabama. Everybody's
Yes.
Dude, you're even doing the voice when you sing.
I know.
But that's perfect. That'd be a great country song. Do that again.
I'm still upset about that. Like I could have done that Bush song better, but that's just my, whatever. I'm not Gavin Rossdale. Anyway, and lastly, we have Bondo.
Swallowed, followed. I'm hollowed and heavy about things because I'm sad and I'm British.
Oh,
No, beautiful. That's a good song choice. I really like that song.
I thought you were Bill Cosby for a second.
I did too.
Oh, you see, Rudy. Feeling very
swallowed.
I'm a serene. And I married Gwen Stefani, you see. But she dumped me for that country singer, that dude, that Blake Shelton.
You know, the song Don't Sleep was inspired by me. Oh, wait, it's Don't Speak. Shit, I missed that joke. God bless.
That was good though, bro. Nice try.
Don't speak. Tell me what you're saying.
If you'd let that ride with Don't Sleep, I don't know if I would have caught it on the first take.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Actually, that was about the bass player, or no, wasn't it? That song was actually about the bass player.
Swallowed?
No, don't speak.
Oh, Don't Speak. Sorry.
Good
About so many
call.
bands I got lost.
It's always the bass player, Gene Simmons,
Or
So
whatever. Was he the bass?
has
He was the
C
bass
Squared
guy.
has graciously allowed me to launch us into something, and I want to do this without sounding like I'm bitching, which might be impossible.
Okay.
So I had an awesome weekend, but then Monday hits. I'm just fucking angry. Did y'all ever wake up just angry that you got to do the same old bullshit through that week? Just do that next 6 fucking days. Or
Hell
get to
yeah.
that one day so you can rest that one day, but only semi-rest and do your fucking laundry so you can do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
I was actually going to bring up something extremely similar.
But do you have a whole thing about this? Do you need to keep going on?
No. It's
Oh,
going
okay.
great.
Oh,
All right,
okay,
it's done.
okay.
That's all I wanted to do. Ball is rolled. Go ahead,
Okay,
Rabbit.
go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, every other Wednesday is when I drop my kids off. That's when I'm not on the podcast sometimes. And like all day today, after I drop my kids off, that's all I've been doing, man. Laundry, cleaning, all that shit. And it's just like, the monotony of just going through the same thing, same cycle over and over again.
But I also feel like there's when I was saying that, I'm seeing everybody's head nodding up and down, and it's like other people I've talked to too are kind of like going through the same thing. I wonder if it was like I don't want to say it's like seasonal depression because we talked about that before.
It is, but when you said anger, man, I was up last night. I was actually reading some stuff last night just because I've been trying to self therapize. I don't know what you would call it, but I was reading about
masturbation.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of it. Do a lot of angry masturbating.
Fuck you! I hate you.
Turn green. I'm like, ah.
Don't get too mad. You'll turn it into a pistol grip.
No, I was reading about like righteous indignation. You know, like when your anger is justified. Like, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, and when I hear it put that way, it's like that term is to my brain a negative. Like you don't want to get stuck in that mindset where you're like, well, I'm right. Like
right.
I'm so angry because I'm
like
right.
I'm justified to be angry. And that's kind of where I'm like, I'm trying to deal with some internal shit. I'm like, how do I deal with that? Like, even though like whatever the circumstance is, I have a right to be upset about it. But still, like when I sit and ruminate on it, it just eats at me. You know what I mean? Like,
right. I've been letting it out because a lot of my anger comes from I kind of mask myself throughout my day because, you know, it's like customer service sort of. You got to be nice to everybody coming and going, but you don't want to talk to everybody, but everybody wants to talk to you, you know? And it's like, I almost lost it yesterday. Some guy comes in, he's looking for chainsaws. And he's like, you care if I take the muffler off and blah, 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 and check this and that? And I'm like, I mean, I don't want parts everywhere. Do you know what you're doing? Can you put it back? And he talks for a minute and I'm like, oh yeah, I can tell you know what you're talking about. So he starts to take it apart, but he starts talking to me about how the stuff works, about what makes this chainsaw run and do what it does and this part and that part and why this one's bad. And it's just like, dude, I don't fucking work on them. I don't make them. I sell them. If it's broke, I'll make you a great deal on it. If you don't want it, you don't want it. Just why are you fucking talking to me? I mean, does anyone else experience that where you just like, so it's like I had to he went outside to get his tool so he could take it apart. And I looked at my brother and I was like, I'm about to lose my shit because I do not care how this chainsaw works. If he wants to talk about price or another chainsaw or something like that, if he wants to get something else, I'll talk to him about business. I don't give a flying fuck how this thing runs. I don't care how it works. I don't need to be taught the lessons of how a chainsaw works. But here I am. So the dude comes in and he starts doing it again. And I nip it in the bud right there. I'm like, man, I don't work on him. You're speaking Japanese. I'd already said that once to him, so he would stop, but he kept going. And so my brother gets up and goes over there to feign interest for me.
Like a real brother should.
Yeah,
right
that doesn't happen very often. But also, I'm not.
Doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's usually me that is like level-headed, and I'll have the patience to deal with people's skullduggery or whatever, what have you. Yeah, that's a good word for it. So yeah, I'm just very worn out, burnout, and it's just kind of hard to. I don't see how to recover from it when I just keep having to do it.
Yeah, man. I had this conversation with my coworkers today because every Wednesday, again, maybe it's a bad thing about Wednesdays. I don't know. We have our like weekly meeting where everyone meets. And it's the same thing every time. It's the same thing. And I'm like, my God, like, can we do something else? You know, like this is the biggest waste of time. We talk about the same shit every time. We go over this. Like at work.
Just work meetings? Yeah.
Yeah, just work meeting. Wednesdays is our everyone meets day. And I'm like, it's so useless and it's so pointless. And the whole time, like, we have a separate group chat where we're bitching about the meeting because
that's the best part about online meetings right there.
Yeah, it's just like, my God, like
sometimes podcasts too.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. The burnout's real though. I feel it. I mean,
is it burnout though about a worn out perspective? Really? I mean, I'm not saying I've perfected this. Listen, I woke up Monday and I was like, I go to the same facilities every Monday. I do the same thing. But I think it's about like a worn out perspective. It's like you're looking at life away, and then, you know, and then you have to either change the way you're looking at it, or it's also about novelty too. Like when things are all the same, like we love things that are different. We love change, but we also hate change too. Like if someone changed that meeting, the time of that meeting, you're like, what the hell? They changed the Wednesday meeting.
Yeah.
You know, they would. Like everybody would lose their mind if you changed the Wednesday meeting. Because I used to work at the same company, so I know like those meetings are torturous. But if you
Well,
change-
now it's not just we have to attend the meeting. They make it to where we have to share our camera now.
Mhm.
So like I can't be off in the back doing whatever it is I'm doing. Like, and they'll call you out on it. Like if you turn your camera off for a minute, they're like, "Where'd you go?" You know, I'm like, "Fuck you." You know.
Had to fix my dick. What of it?
I think it's
It's-
funny how we. I think it's funny how we like. I mean, it's almost like we want predictability, but then we hate it too. Like we
Well,
hate the predictability.
My deal right now is I feel like I'm kind of unraveling at the seams a little bit.
Well, but it's perspective. Like you're like, why am I doing this? It gets the same result over and over again, right? That's why
Right.
it sucks. I'm going to talk to the same chainsaw jackass McGee that comes in here. I'm going to talk to. It's like we look for consistency when we get it. It's almost like our minds need something else to. It's like lack of. It's not the kind of challenge we want, for sure. Right?
Right.
We want some other kind of challenge that's gonna. I don't know, to stimulate us. You know?
It's nice to get a break too. It's
Yeah,
like
what do
I'm-
you think? What do you think is the thing? Like, what's your goal that you have as far as like I need to do this to unwind and to get this tension off of me? Because that's where I'm at too.
I want a fucking weekend. I want 2 days a week. That's what I want. My demands are not high. I will work
Not too
towards
much to
vacation time. Right. Fucking weekend, like the rest of the country, usually.
Because like I have this thing where I have to hold everything together because I have 4 kids, so I can't be wound up. You know, I can't take my frustrations out on them because that's not fair, right? And then I have clients at work I have to deal with. Can't take my frustrations out on them because I have to be professional. So it's like, when do I get that time to just, blah, like, where do I get this, like, vomit and just get all my shit out? And that's
Probably
Yeah.
right now.
right, which is not a good time because other people are listening to this. So
Are they though?
But yeah, I feel you. I feel you, man.
Online,
I feel
yeah.
like if I just had like a few days where I could just go out in the woods and just not have to worry about anything, like that's what I want to do so
Like
bad.
are you like a David Thoreau type of thing? Like
I
a
talked to
Ralph
Bondo
Waldo
about that.
Emerson type thing?
I was
Yeah.
like, I told Bondo, I was like, man, I want to just take my guitar and my keys and go out in the woods and just live in a tent for 3 days and just write some songs. Like I feel like that would just like
That would
relieve
be
so
great. I'd love
much.
to do that too. Yeah.
I'd rather have a cabin and a hot tub. Pretty much the same scenario.
Hot tub would be Sandman, if you want to buy the cabin for all of us, that would be I'm
Talking
down
about
for
a
that.
timeshare.
Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Cabin timeshare.
Let's do it. We'll go out. We'll go out to this summer. We'll go out. We'll get a cabin. We'll bring all it. We'll bring some instruments, and we'll just have an invisible wires, like
Mustache party.
Group
mustache-
therapy session.
group
Yeah.
therapy session. And let's do it. Why not? We can.
Yeah.
I'll pay for the part of the cabin. I don't know how much it's going to be, but
We have to grow mustaches. That's
And
a good
before
point.
we get too far along in our planning, Biz has joined us, so let's bring him up to speed a little bit. What's up, business time?
I think I walked in at the right time. There's a lot of grown men crying.
Yeah.
I ain't
Why
crying.
is my life like this?
Yes, and now he's
I
up to
don't-
speed.
Me,
The monotony. What is the meaning?
if
What
you
is it
just
here?
if you just randomly pop in on Invisible Wires podcast, and if you're listening on the podcast app and you just fast forward, you never know what you're gonna get. You might get a dick joke, you might get a therapy session, someone
Yeah.
crying,
That is
someone talking
true.
about Nietzsche. You never know.
That is so
We're-
true.
We're like a bad trick or treat. It's just like, I
Like
don't know.
sometimes when I don't want to listen to it all, I just do it in four parts. I'll listen to the beginning and I'll listen to a quarter of the way through and I'll listen to every quarter and I just pick a subject and I just put it on there. it's
It's funny.
Sometimes-
By the
sometimes
end of
there's a profound statement every now and again.
by the end of this podcast, we're gonna be like, would you rather do would you rather do Wilma or
Ooh, that's a good
Betty?
Betty,
Betty
dude.
all the way.
Betty all the
Okay.
way, dude.
Would you rather blow Fred and Barney to get your 2-day weekend?
Both of them.
Dino.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. My 2-day weekend.
I feel like Fred's dirtier than Barney for some reason. I don't know why, but
They both work in a rock quarry. I mean,
Did you
That's
ever
why I
hear
like
the
'em
theory
so
that
much.
the Flintstones? What is that theory here? I'm gonna fucking not even know the thing to the thing I'm bringing up.
That they freed Nelson Mandela.
That the Jetsons actually occurred during the same timeline.
Yeah.
Like they had all the
Oh.
technology in the air, and all the Flintstones were like making all the shit.
well, Hanna-Barbera was on mushrooms.
Dude, they were, man.
Yeah, I don't know how not.
Think
I'm
about
not on mushroom.
think about that. What's that dog? The dastardly dog.
Yeah.
Like that, you know?
Is he the one that laughed like the?
Isn't he
Yeah.
that dastardly dog? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Snidely Whiplash.
That sounds like a guy. That sounds like one of them.
That was the
Snidely
dude with the
Whiplash.
mustache, wasn't it? Snidely.
Yeah.
Was that?
He always had the girl tied to the railroad tracks.
Yeah. Studley or Dudley Do Right would save her.
Yeah, Dudley Do Right, not the dog. I was there.
Is that a real name that you made up?
Dudley Do Right?
No, Studley Jenks.
Snidely Whiplash. No, it was really.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah,
a really-
He was
that
really the-
villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was legit not fucking with us.
Don't
question me on- Don't question me on my cartoons.
Hanna Barbera. Remember the at Kings Island they used to have the Hanna Barbera land.
Yeah, it was the best thing about it.
Scooby Doo.
Hey, Bondo, are
So-
you is it worth just shutting down the business on a Saturday, or maybe just opening it from like 8 to 12, or maybe
Yeah, we've
open it
been
from
doing
2 to 6, or
we've been doing like 10 to 3, but still it's like you
Right.
can't plan to do anything. I mean, you've been working all day. It's like, do you want to go for a drive out of town after you've worked all week and then all day on your Saturday? Like,
is it? It might be just one of those choices where you and your bro might have to just be like, there's the intrinsic value, and then there's the extrinsic, and of course, I know you'd be missing out on money, but it might be worth
the
that
mental-
compromise.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been saying that for a while too, and it was starting to go that way, and then it started going back the other way, and I'm back to where I'm like, fuck this, I can't keep it up.
Yeah.
And people are going to start not being happy with me because I just can't fake it no more.
It seems like you can even make it, you can just do it for a month. Be like, for this
Or-
next month,
Or could
we're
you
going
say
to
the
be closed
last Saturday
Saturdays.
of every month? At least give
You
you
just
one.
gotta-
Go dry run.
We were going to do like be open the first Saturday, and then first Saturday of the month, and then close the other 3.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because you want that money, that everybody, that first of the month money.
First miss money.
Yeah. So I think you should just do it, bro. It's not worth, life's too short. You got a beautiful family, you want to spend time with and enjoy. I know for me, my dad provided a really good life for me. And I'm sure a lot of us can speak to this, but it took a lot of his life from his family. Now, whether that was by choice or whether the business pulled him away, I'm not quite sure. But I know there was a time after he got rid of the business, he was telling my aunt how, he regrets missing out on a lot of things. So I would just push you to just shut it down, dude, and spend that time with your wife and whatever you want to do and enjoy it. No guilty. Don't be guilty.
Thank you, Shaman. Well, the one of the things is it's a family business, so there's also more than just my brother and I involved in it, which I don't think the other parties are that hell bent on being open on Saturdays, but it's kind of like I don't know. It's almost like a macho thing or a manly thing where it's like, oh, you fucking pussy, can't work.
Yeah, let
Saturday?
him be like, I am what I eat.
Yeah.
Listen, I am looking for a part-time job, so you can hire me to be the Saturday guy.
Ooh, let's do the job interview.
I don't know shit about chainsaws, but
I don't either. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You just need
I don't
to
think
make the other
that's your
person
job
start it
to
and
know
run it.
either. Yeah.
Exactly.
What if you close on Sundays and Mondays? Like every other
Mondays-
business, every business on like closes on Monday. Like everything's closed anyway.
Barbershops.
I thought
Like
about that too.
barber shops, like food, like there's nowhere to even go out to eat on Mondays usually.
Mondays usually people will come in because they've spent their check that they paid on Friday, so it's cool to be there on a Monday for them. But Saturdays, by and large, are fucking dead. Like there's not a lot going on. People sleep in on Saturdays, man, especially like when sports things are going on. Like if there's, if it's football season, people aren't getting out on a Saturday morning. They're sleeping in. They're watching football.
Close it up.
Shopping. Yeah,
Close it up.
that's what I've been saying for a while, man.
Pawn shop. Pawn shop. Sorry, I just wanted to say that.
And sometimes you have emergencies where, like this week, we don't have a large staff. It's just my brother and I, and his son, 17-year-old son, works with us. And if he's sick and has to go to the doctor, my brother has to take him to the doctor. So it's like, I don't like sitting there by myself because there's fire. You can get overwhelmed pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's not that busy, but you don't want to be the one person in there and have to call in a gun check and then get a line full of people deep or something, or just, some shady people coming in looking at stuff.
We should film a pilot show, like for like
Pawn
a
Shop
pawn
TV
shop.
show.
Yeah, like a pilot for. You think there's like interesting enough people that come in, like where we could film it for like, I don't know, a week and like get enough footage to
We need the
like,
wow guy,
like an actual legit, like total reality pawn shop. Like
like say
people
I
that come in
like
are the
I
not like a sitcom like Full House or Cheers or something.
No, I think it should be like a docu sitcom type of thing where it's like The Office, but at the pawn shop.
Yeah.
It's got you interviewed.
Bondo looks at the camera all the time and says,
Yeah.
This guy comes in all the time, and everything.
Because there's already reality shows with pawn shops. Like there's pawn
This
stars.
fucker right here stinks.
It'd be funny if all the guys that were like that you referenced this is like it's people that aren't really experts in the thing. This is my chainsaw expert. This is my chainsaw expert.
I got a time machine expert.
He actually had sex with an 026 steel one time.
So the one dude that I was talking about last week, that or maybe it's couple. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was talking about this guy that comes in and he's always makes these bad jokes. Like, I got a time machine. How much can I get for a time machine? Anyway, I go to get lunch at Subway and he's there. Oh. He's in front of me and I'm like, hey, you going to buy my sandwich? You going to buy my sandwich today? You going to buy my lunch? You going to buy my lunch? He's like, ah. And here's why it's funny. What he's about to say, I almost left out this crucial point. He purchased a generator from me. He bought a generator. So I'm saying, you want to buy my lunch? Like trying to irritate him like he does me. Yeah. He's like, I don't know. Let me see if I can generate some cash.
Oh man!
Oh, wow!
It's like, I fucking like you now.
What if we wrote like sort of like a parody? I don't think it's been done. Like it could be a parody of like a Pawn Stars type show, and then like you're like, I need to call a buddy of mine, and it's like Jason, whoever, someone that we know named Jason comes in, and or whoever, one of us comes in. And just dressed up funny and like just saying dumb stuff, and it's sort of like if we did like we could combine Trailer Park Boys and Pawn Stars and like redneck Kentucky type stuff.
Hey, I'm all for writing that and shooting that.
I think that would be really fun. We should do that.
We need to redo the set
I'm serious.
where it has a bar and a strip club and a gun range inside the pawn shop too. Then I'm in.
We could film that at Bear Arms.
It's in my contract.
Yeah, we could. We've got places around here that would let us film stuff.
I think it'd be funny if the generator guy came back and tried to sell you the generator back for more than what you gave him for it.
Dude, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Well,
I love this idea. You guys do that. Have fun.
I think it's a good idea for real.
CSQUARE could be the old man.
So I'm gonna write, because I've been getting back into writing.
You need a pilot episode, bro.
Right.
I've been writing a movie, so I'm gonna put together a pilot, and for real. And y'all have had any cool, like, funny ideas, like, send them my way.
Yeah.
What's the movie about?
It's an epic.
Oh.
It's like sort of like a modern day Western, like a good, the bad, and the ugly type thing, but without, like, it's about the Appalachian, like, pill mill crisis, and you get a lot, like, a like a pill mill doctor. Like instead of like in The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, there's like the
Oh wow.
the Mexican guy, there's
Yeah.
the good, the good, and then there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. So like this would be
Right.
like similar to that, but like I wanted to do like a Appalachian guy, like an ex-cop, but then like a pill mill doctor, and then like a drug rep, or like just combining some way that kind of character, like sort of like
Mhm.
combining the book Dreamland. I don't know if y'all have ever
About
read
a
that.
recovered addict.
Yeah, it could be a recovered addict. And I've got a few pages written, but I'm really excited about it. And it's gonna be like Once Upon a Time in Appalachia is what I'm
That's
going for.
awesome.
Yeah.
Who's your
It should be a
Who's your-
grandma, bro.
who's your draft picks for casting? Dream team.
So the young man would be played by Shia LaBeouf,
Mm.
and the pill mill doctor, that's a rough one. Maybe like Michael Shannon. Or actually Al Pacino, I think would be like the dream. I think
Oh
he,
yeah.
and his name's going to be his name's Dr. Apollo. That's who I have him written as, so I think it would be perfect for Al Pacino. Like it's like the pill mill doctor's going to be like crazy, like really, really like passionate about pain, and he like teaches his people how to like crush up the pills and snort them and stuff, and
Just when I thought I was out, they killed me back in.
yeah. Yep.
I knew it was you, fentanyl. You
Yeah.
broke my heart.
Fentanyl.
And then you got like
Broke my heart.
you got the Mexican guy that comes across the border and he sells like black tar heroin, and he brings back like pairs of Levi jeans back to his family. Like he grew up in like
He's played by Shaman.
yeah.
Hey, Biz, just on the doctor thing, which I love the Al Pacino bit. I mean, I feel that. But what about like a character like Dustin Hoffman, who you wouldn't expect to play a character in that way? And I think he could pull something off.
Yeah.
He'd be like the police commissioner.
Yeah, I mean,
would still seem. Yeah, I would want him to play a bad guy, because I've never seen Dustin Hoffman play a bad guy.
A lot of those
that
are
would be
bad guys.
cool. I'm just writing the script, and that's gonna be above my pay grade. I'm just gonna like.
I'll get Dustin. I'll get.
You think he's more than Al Pacino?
I'll get Dusty on the phone.
I don't think
for
so.
Sure. No. I mean, like the people that actually
Dustin
make the movie.
Hoffman
Like
is a better
I'm,
actor than Al Pacino. Come on.
I'm just writing it. They're gonna have to fund it, put it together.
Well, I like it, man. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
I'm losing my mind with your background, Office
I was
Space.
just trying to figure out where Danny McBride fits in all this.
Yeah.
I was hoping there'd be a part for like John C. Riley in there too. I was
In
thinking
Appalachia, yeah.
So is this a period piece?
No, it's like a modern day. Like it's set. Well, I'd say like it would be set in 2008.
Did you ever see that movie Brick?
I feel like I've heard of it.
It was it's a high school film noir. So it's basically, like film noir, like a detective where the lady comes, I'm, this damsel in distress. But but they put it in high school. It's badass.
That's
That would
awesome.
be weird.
It's so good. It's such a good movie.
Is there like the internal dialogue from it? Like she came into my heart, like the
No, but it's like one of the kids is the detective. It's really, really good. Movie.
Have you seen
Reminds me of
American-
The Investigators, which is about fifth graders being investigators in their school.
You have a movie like that?
Well, no, it's a TV show. It's called Investigators. And I think they're maybe even in middle school, but I would show my class, it'd just be something we would watch on special occasions or whatever.
It's going to show how much older I am than you guys, but we had something like that called the Bloodhound Gang when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Whenever you're doing your script writing, I heard this today from the dudes that write South Park. They're talking about when you want to write a good script, you don't want to get stuck in the like a thing that happens and then you don't want to say that. You don't want to go and then. You shouldn't do and then. It should be but, because, and therefore. This happened, so then this happened because of this thing. Like there has to be like a
Mhm.
Equal.
otherwise you're just
sexuality.
kind of rambling.
But, because, therefore.
Right. This happens, but, or this happens because.
I use
this
that line a lot.
happens, Therefore.
I use that line a lot when I was writing essays in college. Had to be like 500 words. I'm like, but therefore, then the totality, the totality of the situation at hand has reckoned.
Yeah.
The shamalization of the cantrification. I know those aren't words. Anyway.
No, I didn't make up words because I'm not fucking stupid. So.
I always hate when people do that. I always hate when people
Here's a useless word.
Chat GBT can do that, man.
Chat GPT. Oh, I have something to talk about that. I forgot. Yeah.
Mike, have you guys?
That is a useless word.
Have you guys seen American Vandal?
That
the word that THAT. It's a useless word. If you use it in a sentence, you can drop it, and the sentence is still fine.
I saw that.
No,
you can't. Because that's this. I saw. See, you can't take it out. I'm sorry.
We'll make the sentence a little longer.
I saw that.
Hand me that fork.
If
hand me that fork.
If Biz is over there like massaging his microphone real weird, I'm like, I saw that. See,
Bondo, give us one.
Let's say, hand me that fork.
You just said that.
Yeah, hand me. Well, I'm saying if you drop that in that sentence, hand me
fork.
If you want to sound stupid,
all right.
Okay.
Anyway, somebody else.
If you want to sound like an idiot, you want to sound like a total fucking idiot.
I really
take.
I like that Leonard
that out of every sentence.
I like that Leonard Skinner song. Ooh, smell. We just shat all over your idea, bro. Sorry.
I like it. It's fine.
I saw
it deserved to be shat on.
I'm going to defend him because he's right. He didn't say that it. He didn't say that it didn't matter how it sounded. If it sounded stupid, he said that you would still understand the sentence. Right.
Okay. Well, let me see this. Let's see.
There's a journalism thing. Like if you're editing your your stories that you write and things like that.
Okay.
If you look at the word that, usually you can drop it and.
But you have to replace it with something else.
You don't have to.
Which or therefore.
Okay. Let's say there's four. Let's say there's 4 forks on the table. I need that fork, not that one. Not the fork, because there's 4 forks on the table. You say the fork, I'm like, well, which one? Which fork do you want? And by then, you could have fucking grabbed this fork yourself.
I need the third fork to the right, please.
That's longer.
I don't know what this journalist said, but I think that you could defend that you don't need the word because there's languages like, for example, Hebrew that are very direct. It's like hand me fork. Like when you translate it into English.
They didn't have the definitive articles or whatever.
Exactly. In Arabic too.
Well, this is America, okay?
And we need definitive articles. We have the articles on independence.
With that thing, I have also noticed anytime you say in conversation like that, like if you listen to a post-game interview with any baseball player, and another one is, they say, well, Davey, he got that triple in the third, and it's like, it's like,
is
like that.
Right. Let's play a game.
It's the same league to me.
Okay, let's play a game. What do you got?
What do you got? Next 5 minutes, we're just going to have a conversation.
Okay.
The last one to not use the word that wins in whatever. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna time it. I'm gonna get a timer going here.
So we're not allowed to use that?
No, the moment you do, you are out and not part of the conversation anymore.
You can't use that word starting now.
Let me say.
I don't know if I can catch somebody if they're doing it.
I'll be the referee.
Winning.
You just did it.
Oh,
I didn't say it though.
Okay.
All right, you ready? Time's gonna start now.
Hey, do you guys remember that show on Nickelodeon where they would
wait, no.
I already fucking said it. Okay, I'm out.
Gosh,
you said it. Oh my god. You did too.
Yep.
Man.
Wow.
This is crazy.
I know.
No one noticed me muting myself to win.
Yeah.
You have to talk. Yeah, you have to talk about stuff.
When we were talking
So,
about what was the
yeah,
film style?
Film noir.
Film noir. Okay, I was gonna say earlier. Have you seen American Vandal?
No, I have not seen the movie American Vandal.
No, it's a show, and gosh, this is hard to because when you're trying to think about.
You're done. You said
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I said when you're trying
I
to
don't
think
think you
about
said it.
Oh, my bad.
what you want to
Okay.
say, plus not using the word,
Yeah, it
it's very difficult.
makes everything seem cryptic when
But-
you speak.
American Vandal is about it's set like Serial. Have you ever heard of the podcast Serial?
We have
But
taken
it's-
one word of the English language and it's
It's
prevented
broken us.
Biz from speaking.
Instead of
We've been so crippled.
He's crippled, folks.
instead of a murder, it's about this
Look at his
this
eyes.
this kid, and he.
He's seeing the word in the.
I almost
distance.
just used it. It's about a kid, and he spray paints a dick on someone's car, and they investigate it like a murder. And it's on Netflix, and it's
What do you
really
think,
good.
C-Square?
Hats off to him for using this much dialogue and not howling up.
I didn't hear anything.
I'm still winning.
I did not hear anything that he said.
Oh, you're out, dude.
You
You
said
didn't hear
Oh,
anything
shit, I
that he
did.
said. Yeah, it's that easy.
God,
It is
what a-
that
No.
easy.
See?
man.
Oh, who's making fun
You're
of me
out
now?
again.
Who's making fun now?
Wow.
down to 3.
I almost used it like 7 times when
All
I
right,
was
Rabbit
talking.
needs to talk a
I
little
can't
bit
believe I
about
used
something.
it. I'm so mad at myself.
She
Talk about the
sells
movie.
seashells by the seashore.
Damn it.
No,
It's all
I
right,
really-
C-Square.
I really just wanted to recite a colloquy about the wonders of modern technology and how it empowers our everyday lives. Minuscule tasks, which used to be quite time consuming, is now very accessible and easy due to the technology in which companies and even some government funding has enabled us to have in this day and age. Now, you can
You
compare and
reading this?
contrast. Does it look like I read? We can compare and contrast to ancient times in which civilizations were more primitive.
Oh God, where's those crickets, Shaman?
I mean, I don't know.
We took that word out of the podcast and I made it the worst podcast ever.
Yes. Can we continue this game another time?
Who want?
Well,
okay.
we're almost there. We're at
Do we
4
want to make
minutes.
4
We're
minutes?
4 minutes and 5 seconds.
All right, let's let Sandman
What do you?
talk
Yeah,
about something
Sam, I
for a
don't know
minute.
if you talk much, bro.
Yeah,
Man,
Sandman.
I'm so mad at myself right now.
Talk about the World Baseball Classic, Sandman.
Or just
Did
read
you
it off the
guys
screen.
know one of the originators of said competition?
Huh.
I didn't say the TH word, but almost did. Is from Grant County.
Who
I
would
didn't
this
know
person
that.
be? Who would this person be?
PJ
That's
Archer
very interesting.
is one of the originators of he went to Greenup High School, second
he's
baseman
involved-
by nature.
He's involved in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
I said it.
my bad.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
out.
Hey, guess what, fuckers? Time.
No, I was
I
going to forfeit. I gave it a run just to see how far I could go, but I
It
knew
was
that
good.
I was not going to.
Made it a lot fucking farther than I did.
That.
That's all, folks.
We know.
Yeah, he was.
Hey, that bit should be called "That's All, folks."
That's all, folks.
I
That
like
was-
it.
Dude, that was good.
I've heard some guys
Thank
Wow.
you, Bondo.
That
You
hurt my
guys-
brain. Are you still going on about
Rabbit's
the
a
baseball
guy,
classic?
though.
Are you going on about the baseball classic?
Yeah. Well, I was getting ready to switch directions because I'm thinking there's only two of us that
What do you think about
follow that.
how the greatest American sport ever got beat by Japan?
On the last out, wasn't it? Or like, didn't Otani strike out Trout or something?
Yes, he did. Well, I will say this. I think Japan's awesome, and Shohei Ohtani is a freak, man.
Yeah.
Everybody, even if you don't
Super
like
stud.
sports, you can watch this guy and realize that he's doing something
He's a-
special.
He's a once in a century athlete.
But to be fair, Team USA did not send their best pitchers, which is what hurt them in the end. So, I mean, they had a lot of studs in their lineup, a lot of good ball players, but pitching wise, Japan just far outmatched
Which
them.
is understandable why you wouldn't want to send your pitchers. If there was going to be any position, you wouldn't probably want to send them. You want to
Yeah,
save
because-
them as much as possible.
Yeah, these guys aren't ready. I mean, it's spring training; they're getting ready for
Yeah.
the season. They're not built up. They're not ready.
Well,
to,
if they knew they were going to play for this, they could have prepared, obviously.
well, yeah, but they've known for 2 years. so-
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. If they really wanted to, they could have easily prepared for it, but
Right.
it's not worth the wear and tear.
But they didn't want to because I mean, Edwin Diaz of the Mets is out for the year now.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like this guy, luckily the insurance is going to cover his contract, which is $25 million. Imagine getting hurt and essentially what's an exhibition game
Right.
and, losing that money.
Well, I
Because
tell you
All right.
what, if
I'll
any
have
of
to do
you all
spring
get
training
hurt
meeting.
at work, you all ain't going to get millions of dollars for your insurance. I don't feel too bad for him.
Nope. But they had a lot of money invested in those guys anyway.
and what's funny, he didn't even get hurt during the game. He got
He
hurt
was
celebrating. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they won,
Good.
and he went to go celebrate with the team, and he was hopping up and down, and boom.
pulled his patellar tendon
yeah,
Pulled
celebrating.
his,
Mm.
pulled his vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah. there's
Imagine that.
I think it's a punani tendon. Isn't it? When you pull
There's
that.
football players getting ready to go into training like next week or something like that, isn't there? Like NFL players,
All the
or
camps.
they're getting ready to start next week.
yeah.
Can you
Can't well
imagine that?
throwing can start, I think, and maybe some other.
No, I don't think this early.
Yeah, there's something going on. In
There's
like
still
the next
another
week
day
or
of
two.
combine this weekend. They're still looking at quarterbacks again, right?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
yeah, season's over, but you guys got to get in shape. I think it's just like training stuff. Just
Yeah,
like-
the draft doesn't even happen till April. So
right. C-squared abandoned us.
yeah, he's like, oh my god, they're talking about masculine things. I better go. I gotta go air fry a steak.
Steaks are done.
in his Patagonia air fryer.
his air fryer has a sweater on.
He puts his smoking jacket on to eat it, so, with a pipe. Yes, I wonder what the non-podcasters are doing. today.
I literally smoke my meats in a pipe.
We'd heard that.
Oh God!
To the tube steak special today.
How did I set myself up for that? Hey, why don't you
You
guys
set
make
yourself
fun of
up
me?
for what? What'd you set yourself up for?
That. You know what? Like, here's the whole thing: is that it totally disproved the theory.
I know it did. It totally
You know the
backfired.
word you don't need, and you don't need fucking need and you know
Or the.
all these articles you don't need. You know what we don't need? Pronouns. Let's just throw them out the window.
I'll say if they interview any 20-year-old celebrity,
Your mic fell
how
off
many
its
times they say
stand.
like.
My knee hit it.
Like is really hard to not say. I've listened to so many of our podcasts, and I have totally tried not to say it, and I've got real good for a while, and then I almost said it there. Then that's a thinking word is the problem, and is also a thinking word.
Yeah,
and,
so we've talked about before, like it's an audible pause, just similar to when you're trying to grasp the next word.
I've
I
got
know,
audible
way too
pause.
much.
Listen to my pause.
Oh my gosh.
You know what the best audible pause
Jesus
is?
Christ.
I've used that for
C-square.
audible pause.
I don't ever want to hear you say that again. Okay.
What?
My paws make noises.
I liked it. It was good.
I
I
don't know.
like your pause.
Where did that come from, bro? Listen to my audible pause. I mean, and you did the whole hand thing with it, man.
Yeah, you shocked the room, dude.
Yeah,
I was getting
don't-
ready to go into. I wanted to talk about
Like,
Jeff Goldblum. but-
The only thing gayer you could have done with your hands would have been like fist Liberace or something. Like that would have been the only gayer thing you could have done.
That's Saturday
Wow.
night.
And did somebody say fist?
Look out for its claws, gentlemen! Ah!
That was my Liberace. Oh. One
Didn't
finger,
sound like
two
the
finger,
Southerner.
5 finger.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What did we say about 40 minutes ago that the podcast would eventually evolve into
Yes, it just
one finger, two finger, 5 finger?
They call that the Elton John glove.
they call it the Elton glove, EJ glove.
That's a good rap name.
It's way different than
Glove.
the MJ glove, but it's just as effective.
There are sequins involved.
There are sequins involved in both gloves.
Wow.
About the hamburger
they-
helper glove.
Are they ribbed?
I hear that the Michael Jackson glove and the hamburger helper glove went out one time.
They were incompatible. They're
That
both
was-
right-handed.
It's
So
What are,
That may have been the
That's stupid.
dumbest thing that's ever been said on this podcast.
yeah, I can't.
The hamburger helper glove.
I'm stupider because I had to hear.
The hamburger helper glove went out with Michael Jackson's glove.
OJ
I think
glove
like
murder.
25.
Hey Biz,
brain cells
this
died.
is your movie right here. This is it.
I can see
OJ's
Mickey Mouse
glove.
chopping his hands off right now just because of it.
OJ's glove.
There should be an
OJ.
animated series with Michael Jackson's glove, OJ's glove.
It's a murder mystery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's a-
who's
wait,
stupid now? This is
It's
the
a-
best fucking show ever.
It's a film noir.
yeah. The glove machine.
The Arby's hat comes in. He's like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?"
It's starting to sound like a Seth Rogen movie.
I asked someone this
Yeah,
question
what?
today. I said, "What does Wendy's voice sound like?" And I was
Danny
like,
Glover narrates.
I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah. Will it to me, Riggs. Will it to me, Riggs. Will it to me.
Nice.
I just
Yeah.
Riggs. Riggs.
what is Wendy from Wendy's voice sound like?
Never
Jeez.
heard it.
Commercials.
fries.
Welcome to Wendy's.
Do you guys think we could actually survive a weekend in a cabin together? There's no chance.
We'd be like having a sock puppet show and like by night too. It'd be like a little stage we made. We're doing artsy
We need the experience like the Doors had when they were in the desert.
with
Yeah.
mescaline.
Yeah,
Well, I thought they dropped acid. I thought that was acid.
I thought it was peyote.
Maybe, yeah. Might have been that too.
We can
Yeah,
do
I
shrooms.
wouldn't never.
We could do
yeah.
shrooms.
Shrooms is way easier.
Yeah, shrooms would be great.
It's not so close to the edge of insanity. That
Oh no, it's
Not so close to the edge of insanity. I don't
That's
know
pretty
why.
good.
you guys really synced in on that.
I need. I was trying to do a
Yes.
door song. How
That
would the
was
Doors
more
sound?
of like Barry Manilow. or something.
not so close to the edge of insanity.
Barry Manilow.
You're so
When
what?
will our eyes meet?
I feel like
Tom
we're getting closer to humanity.
You're so white that the Doors is the door to the credit union.
I called them today. Where's my money? I need a new Patagonia. Like, cool,
I'm so sorry, Mr. Square. We shall have your money to you.
Please forgive us.
Promptly.
Scrooge McSquare and his fucking.
If I'm rich, I'm not going to the credit union. You know what I mean?
Scrooge McSquare.
Where'd you go?
I've
I don't
got to
know.
get to the credit union.
People's
keep your money
Crown
on-
Bank, People's Crown Trust or something. Then if you're rich, you go to a bank that says trust at the end.
Get the Netherlands on the phone. I need to access my offshore accounts.
So if I'm rich, I'm banking in the Bahamas. Yeah, probably.
Banking in Bahamas.
Yeah, I want to put my money under my bed. All right,
Kissing pretty
that's the safest
mamas.
bank in the world, right there.
RBS, man. That's where I'm at.
I'd like to talk to you fellas about an opportunity in Bitcoin.
with the price of 3 pairs of gloves, you can.
In a Patagonia sweater.
That voice you were doing, Bondo, it sounded like anybody caught the episode of South Park where they're
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
like Home
totally
Shopping
where I ripped it
Network.
off from. It was
Okay.
like Butters doing the thing. It's like, let me tell you guys about
Well,
Bitcoin.
they were selling the shoot. Stan's grandpa was buying all the bolo ties and jewelry and stuff off of people in a nursing home. They were, robbing them blind.
Yeah,
That's
weren't they
what I
selling
started
like
killing
little
it.
figurines and shit? Or
Yeah.
like they were
Well, that
smuggling.
was
Oh, that
part
was a
of when he
different
was.
one.
Yeah, that was like a take on the Better Call Saul.
Right.
But yeah,
With the Hummels.
yeah, but they kept calling into the Home Shopping Network. Said, you know, it'd be good if you just kill yourself because you're exploiting old people. So do it. It was like it was a good episode. Y'all should follow up on. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Anyway.
check it out.
Yeah, right.
Square- see, Square was-
I didn't land that plane. I'm sorry.
such juvenile behavior is beneath me.
I really don't
You sound-
watch adult cartoons at all. Oh, I
Rabbit
did
went-
watch Rick and Morty for a little bit. Evidently, he got
He's into the little Einsteins.
he got a little trouble. Got a little trouble.
Yeah.
He did. Now, what did he do? He like talked to some underage chick or something.
Who did?
The Rick and Morty creator,
Oh, for real?
supposedly.
That's the dude that did. Is that the guy that did Community too? Same guy?
He
No,
did some other stuff.
He did actually. He used to write for Murder She Wrote. Actually, he was the main writer.
His name is Jimmy Simpkins.
Yeah. How easy is it to write for Murder She Wrote?
Yeah. Just,
The same
Never
damn.
go
Try it,
down
C
and-
Square, real quick. Give us
Yeah.
a storyline.
no, it's all you ever travel to a town and somebody there dies and she figures out who. It's the same thing every week.
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty good, Sam, man. C Square, your
What
turn.
if they brought that show back now? It would have to be called Murder They Wrote.
Murder they
You're
them wrote.
Like Angela Lansbury would be trans, and it would be like
If you identify as they, do you get like a higher BMI?
He's saying like Angela
like
Transferry.
allowance?
Angela Transbury.
Hey, that's
Transferry.
I moved to Florida. That's my name. When I start dancing again.
Angela Transbury. That's who said that?
That was Sandman.
That was good. That was good, bro.
Oh yeah.
You know, I
Angela.
seriously don't get what all the pronoun stuff's about anyway. I've been calling them he, she's for years.
Wow.
Anyways,
Suck the air right out of it. Wow. I thought that shit was funny.
I'm trying to. Am I not getting it?
I just called trans people he, she's.
Oh,
It was a joke.
I've never heard.
that was
That was the
very-
wokest. That was the
it was-
wokest this podcast has ever gotten. Right at that
very
moment.
We're gonna get
insensitive.
canceled.
It was
Very
very insensitive.
insensitive.
Shaman just the camera just went to Shaman and it was just him looking mad. It was him
Bondo-
looking going.
Bondo,
wow.
why do you want to genocide trans people?
I just thought that
No,
was funny.
Why do you want to?
I saw that. Listen, okay, whatever. We're not going to get into this whole conversation, right? Because we all have brains. But when you say a word like genocide, genocide has a very specific meaning. Like a genocide has a definition.
Right.
Like,
dictionary, yeah.
Right. Like genocide, typically the rough, definition is a government that is responsible for murdering masses of people. Right. And when you say like someone not calling you whatever, Zim is genocide.
Well, it's,
They also use
part
the
of
word
root word
abuse.
is gene, so it's like a group of people, just like the Holocaust was.
But it's not a
Jewish
specific
genocide.
gene, is
Right.
it? It's being
No, but I'm saying
trans-specific
it's
gene.
a
Like,
type of people.
I
I'd say,
think
like
if you
the
could,
Ammonites in the Bible, that was kind of a genocide that God did there. That's the difference.
like Chairman Mao,
God.
Chairman Mao genocided 200 million Chinese people. 200 million. Like that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And if you could, like, just say the Holocaust, because that's the most famous, right? Most well known. Like everything's the Holocaust. Everybody's Hitler that they don't like. So like that's the most recent comparison. But like, go back there and get an emaciated Jew out of a concentration camp and say, "Hey, would you and your family rather go to the gas chambers and die as a collective unit just by nature of being Jewish, or would you rather someone call you he when you identify as they?" I think the answer is pretty clear.
Bread.
They're going to choose the gas chamber because
Here is so I
who
heard
would want to be misgendered?
I heard
That's all I'm saying.
I don't think they could understand the question, honestly. I think if you presented someone in that situation, like, this is what it's going to be like in the next, I don't know, 60, 70 years.
Right. I'm just saying, like, slavery, American slavery is infinitely worse, right, than anything that's happened to modern day LGBT people.
Right.
And we don't even refer to slavery as anything as wild as genocide. So to say that, like, I don't know, I see it almost every day.
Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, like, I see, activists and people literally using the term genocide for, like, they were talking about one particular thing was the law in Kentucky, like, banning underage people from having, like, undergoing a physical transition.
Reassignment.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, people were saying, this is genocide. This is genocide. Like, no.
No, that's
no.
It's,
no.
By the dictionary, it is not.
It's not even close.
What is you find the most extreme word? Like they said that Jordan Peterson was abusing students by not calling them by their chosen pronoun.
Yeah.
They said abuse. That's abuse. That's you're going to tell someone that was beat up by their parents every day or molested or whatever that's the same thing as their abuse. It's all semantics. It's all, if you look at you guys have read 1984, the control of the language is the point. And when they start changing the meanings of words is what happens. And like the guy the main character of that book, that's what his job was in the book, was the newspeak, to change the way we communicate. And and it's almost like, it's crazy because when Bondo said that joke, either it wasn't funny or
I really thought y'all would think that's fun. And before you go on too much further, that was just a joke. And
my reaction, I don't know about everyone, my reaction was just also a joke as well, like feigning outrage.
Right. Yes.
But I like where you took it.
I'm not actually offended by what you said. I was just.
I mean, neither. I don't really care, but I think it's okay. Maybe it's a bad example.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying,
Sorry,
though,
I didn't mean to stop you.
Is that even things we're not offended of, we're like, oh, someone else will be offended, then I'm going to get in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, that's how much it's kind of permeated the society, and we don't even live in a place where it's that prevalent, right? It's not. I mean, it's kind of prevalent, but I think it's interesting that.
Well, I noticed
we're trying to find people who do stuff wrong all the time. It's crazy.
Have you guys noticed this? And I really don't want to get into a rabbit hole here, but we're on the topic of like watching. Yeah, I have rabbit holes, if you know what I mean.
No.
You don't let me in.
Explain. I don't think we know what you mean.
I have a butthole in a mouth.
Okay.
Would be, if I were to choose to be a homosexual, there would be options for penal.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I was saying was, I've noticed reading commercials and even like on the warning labels of prescriptions, they say, like when they give the warnings at the end of the thing, it's like, if you are on, blah, 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 if you have high blood pressure, or people who are assigned female at birth should consult their doctor. And I see like on the things, on the med inserts, it's like people who are assigned female at birth. It's like, wait a second. Like, why? I mean,
now
even
medicines have to be
even medicine has to be woke now, because it's like, you can't just say, if you're a female, like you have to say,
they're not going to take my drug if they don't identify me correctly. Or that's weird.
Right. And it's very dystopian almost, because it's like, you can't even say like what, I don't know. There's also one leading in, again, I'm going down rabbit holes, but I was watching a medical or medicine commercial for some drug, and the warning thing at the end, it says, do not take if you've recently had the COVID vaccine. And I'm thinking, like, why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be able to take it? The vaccine's safe and effective, right? There's no side effects. There's no causes of any, interactions, why would you have to worry about that? Why would you have to ask your doctor about this medication if you've taken the COVID vaccine? Because there's nothing absolutely wrong with taking the COVID vaccine. It's safe and effective. And if you say anything otherwise, then you're a racist. But, however, we're still going to put this warning at the end of our medicine commercial because we don't want to get sued, because profits mean everything to us. We're Pfizer. But please don't take this medicine if you've had the COVID vaccine, because you're probably going to go into a myocarditis. But if you're assigned female at birth, you might be okay. Just don't sue us.
Possibly.
I think it seems that, we had over 400 and some years of prejudice and social injustice, right? To a group of people, African Americans, the Chinese, when they were helping build on the West Coast, the slavery that they went through were sometimes worse than even what the African Americans went through, if we can even imagine that.
Dude, we interned Japanese people into camps.
Well, I'm not even talking about World War II, but that's
like
too.
60 years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Our grandparents, if they're still alive, they can even talk about how segregation is just got, our grandparents can discuss that they went through segregation. They know what it's like going to just a white school and a black school. So now I think everybody's so hyper aware that woke means just to be alert to social, discrimination and prejudice. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is where you become hyper alert, right? You think everything is social discrimination or prejudice. And that's where I think people, or society, our society in particular, is trying to figure out. We went from one extreme for hundreds and hundreds of years. And, we're now trying to figure out, how to transition to an equilibrium. We just had our first African-American president 12 years ago. There's still a lot of growth we can do. And I think this is what's going on, is we're just trying to figure that out.
Well, it's Maslow's hierarchy. I guarantee you this. People in the hood, they ain't caring about their pronouns.
No.
You know what I mean? It's all these, it's a lot of rich elite people who, they have food, they have shelter, they have all of this stuff that they don't have to worry about. So now they're at the top of the pyramid, where they're going into self-actualization, and they're making problems that didn't previously exist, because now they don't have to hunt for food. Now they don't have to worry about how their bills are getting paid and where their next meal's coming from. So now they've turned that fight or flight instinct into social justice. Now all these problems are fixed, at least for that group of people. Now we have to focus outward and see, how can we have the abundance in social culture that we do in, like, the capitalist, like, nobody's starving to death, or at least that's the perception. But like I said, poor people, They're not worried about pronouns. They're not worried about all of this stuff.
That's not true, man. I go into Starbucks and there's people working there with tags saying they, them. I mean, that's the working class poor that still do care to some degree.
Are they really in poverty though? Like to the extent to where they're fighting for, their every day?
I mean, compared to the rest of the world, our poverty is definitely a lot. But you know how hard it is. People living check by check. Even in our society. Yeah, I mean, our needs are met, but people are working their asses off just for that check each week. So, but the point is, I think there is this, we're caught right now in this weird time where it seems people are just trying to protect everyone's quote unquote identity and preserving it, whether it's the color of your skin, or now it's the gender you want to be referred to, or the pronoun. I have my opinion upon, with all of that. But it just seems to me, as long as our society becomes freer, more rights are necessarily given, but they're just more expanded, I guess. I don't know. I just don't have a problem with that. But there is, I do sympathize with the idea that everything being super sensitive, it is an issue for sure.
Here's my take.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry, dude.
I think the political arena, it's like every 4 years you come up with some hot button topic that really doesn't amount to a hill of beans, like who goes in what bathroom. I mean, has anybody ever run into that as an issue? That was.
I just get around the girls' bathroom. Nobody says shit to me, man.
Right. But 4 years ago, that was, this person's for that, and that so it's some think tank seed that's put in to get fervor going.
I think you're right.
If people were left alone, people would be left alone.
Right.
I mean, it's redundant to say that, but
yeah, that's like the kneeling thing in the NFL. Like when Colin Kaepernick started that thing, it's like no one cared about it until they literally pointed it out every time. They're like, oh, and now 7 players from the Detroit Lions kneeled during the anthem today.
Yeah,
it's like before they were doing
a race thing too.
Yeah, they were doing it the entire time, but it's just now you decided to make an issue out of it. So like, yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, I don't think anyone would pay attention to this stuff if we weren't being almost gaslit about.
Well, it's crazy. They'll take a thing like that. Like, I think what he was doing with that was to try and point out all the injustices that Black people have faced, just trying to bring attention to that. But then, just like what Shaman was saying about like woke, the word woke, those things get morphed into this thing that it's not, and then it becomes this pop culture thing that just kind of is a joke.
Well, what I hate is everything's put on equal level, right? You can't. There can be no nuance. There can be no, whatever. Like I said earlier, like going back to my point, like this is equivalent to genocide. Donald Trump is Hitler. This is a Holocaust. This, you know what I mean? And it's like.
Well, it's the same thing with the Me Too movement, where every guy that had been on a bad date got, with Harvey Weinstein. It's the same thing.
Right.
And here's what for me, it's what's more important, your pronoun or affordable health care or affordable education, what's more important than, how about prescriptions that aren't killing us? How about a medical system that works? How about roads that and how about all the money that we just shovel into Congress? If you're a congressman, you get paid the rest of your life.
Shoveling all the fucking money they did to Ukraine.
Yeah, it's what it is it's a distraction. It's like, and it's also what's sad is that the younger people are like, we're revolutionary, we're changing, but really they're just being distracted that they're working at Starbucks, but yet they're not, they don't even have health insurance, right? They're, we're not making laws at Walmart. Like Walmart gives people 30 hours so they can't get health insurance. Like, what about, if you really want to protect the working people, it's not their pronoun. It's them having the rights of people who, who have more. Like if you're rich, you can get away with anything, and you have more, and you actually make more because you are rich. And
unless your name's Alex Murdaugh.
And it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just,
it worked for a while.
I mean, and they are just trying to.
it's all 1984 shit. It's all Brave New World. It's they're trying to control us with ideas that are just. Listen, I can sit here and talk about the woke movement all I want, but guess how much it changes? It zero, because it doesn't really help the people that really need help. I think it's. I mean, I'm not against. I don't care what if someone's transgender, or if they want to be a guy or girl or whatever they want to be, whatever, fine.
Yeah,
but that doesn't make any. That doesn't change the government. You know, it just gives people just the distraction when we should really be like, if we were gonna walk into the White House and start, you know, and actually storm the White House, it should be over the money that they're misallocating to the military and to, you know, to all those things. It shouldn't be to, like, human rights is not about race or gender. It is about everyone having an equal opportunity. That's what it's about. And we don't have an equal opportunity because we let huge companies make all the rules because they have the most influence on government.
Oh man, that's what they call bingo.
Think about Occupy Wall Street, because I remember back when that was happening and the bank bailouts and 2008 crash and all this stuff. You had Occupy Wall Street, which were movements across the country. People were literally standing in front of the NASDAQ protesting, saying, fuck you, bankers, all of this stuff. So what did JP Morgan and Chase Bank and all these people turn around and do? They turned around and donated millions and millions of dollars to social causes. Like, if you look at whatever Pride Month is, I think it's in June or whatever. Look at all these big banks and all these investment companies. They're all going to change their profile pictures to the rainbow flag and be like, JP Morgan stands with the LGBT community. And everyone's going to be like, oh, great. But really, you know, they're still robbing us. All that Occupy shit went away because they started investing their time on social issues instead of, like what CSQUARE is saying, actual shit that matters. And we used to be upset about it, but now we're not.
It's
It'll be the same. Go ahead, Sandman. Sorry.
No, I saw a stat today that inflation, like 40% of the reason behind inflation is just corporations raising their prices for, you know, blindly, just because it's a bandwagon thing. The cost of this, that, and the other hasn't really gone up in comparison to CEO salaries and the corporate profit. It's you know, it's 40% of the of inflation index.
Yeah, I mean, Elizabeth Warren addresses a lot of that, man. Listen, I want to speak to truth when truth deserves. I mean, this administration, and I'm not doing it, it might come off as a Democratic speaking point, but this particular, administration passed an infrastructure bill. Biden and Mitch McConnell was even in Kentucky, in Covington, because there's just a sign of the bridge being built. Unemployment rate is at its lowest, and there's been more jobs created in these last 2 years than any time than any U.S. president, right?
Because all the jobs were lost because of the pandemic.
No, that has nothing to do with it. This job still had to be created. There still had to be stimulation. Now, the point is that we don't talk about those things. Vet money. You know how many Republicans voted against the veteran bill that for the Iraqi soldiers who or Afghan soldiers, I think one of them.
But they've all done that. We've always denied health care for.
Yeah, but do you know who voted against it? The problem is there is one party doing things for the common person right now.
But you can't necessarily say all of those bills though, because they'll say something is the Veterans Health Care Act, but then they'll add, $700 billion of spending to Ukraine in the same bill.
Well, listen, if we don't protect Ukraine and it falls, do we want to give Putin that much more territory and that much more power?
Fuck Ukraine. What about East Palestine, Ohio?
Well, here's the issue.
Yeah, what about Detroit?
Here's the real issue, is that if not us, some superpower will take over. So I'd much rather us being involved in a true democracy wherever those countries are to preserve it. And that's why we're stationed in 180 some countries, because if it's not going to be us, it will be China, it will be Russia, it will be somebody else. So we have to be involved, unfortunately. And the moment more countries fall to someone like Putin, because he's already taken over so much territory in Africa, if he takes over Ukraine, what about Poland next to it? What will stop him? You know, what will stop him? He's killing babies. He is killing babies and mothers.
What about the Obama administration giving Crimea to Russia?
I don't know enough about that to speak on. I just know what's going on.
Right. But you have to look at it as a holistic idea. You can't just say Putin just started doing all this.
People in Ukraine
we aided Russia in half of what they're doing for decades. We've aided Russia in doing half of what they're doing for decades.
Well, the only thing I can speak to right now is what's going on currently, because we were talking about the Ukraine stuff. And so I just feel like, unfortunately, it is important. And it's not only us. There's other countries, even putting in more than what we are. But there are issues. But I guarantee you, if it was in another administration, they would be doing the same thing. It's important that we support these countries that are preserving democracy. It just is, in my opinion, obviously. I mean, I just feel like we give Putin more territory. I don't see how that makes the world any safer. And it's not like Ukrainians are wanting it. Why are they fighting back if they really wanted to be Russian? Or
why do we have to be involved? I mean,
here's the thing: is
because we're a damn empire. We're just an empire.
We fund both sides of these wars, though. You know what I mean? Like we've enabled, just like with Afghanistan and Iraq. Yeah. I mean, we trained and funded the Mujahideen back in the 1980s to fight the Cold War against, the Soviet Union. And then all of their weaponry, all of their training they've used to fight us for the last 30 years. And, then we launch these wars because we hedge our bets, because we fund both sides of them.
Listen,
so
Putin's the one that launched this war, man. America didn't do anything, but we unfortunately have to get involved to some degree, only because the more territory communism, someone like Putin or someone like Z from some China take more territory, because China's backing up Russia, North Korea is backing up Russia. I mean, is that what we really want? Is more territory? So these
is it just a territory grab for because they want to run a pipeline from this sea out to that sea? And here Lithuania was an independent country, just like. Mm-hmm. We got our independence from somebody else. Now, if England came asking for it back, I'm sure we'd be saying, "Hey, Germany or France or Canada, give us a hand here." I mean, it's that Ukraine has a right to be there. But I mean, I see both sides of that, sending money over to them. When everybody says, "Well, we need to take care of our veterans," we'll quit voting it down. Then
yeah, that's it. That's what I just can't handle. I'm about the truth. Let's just get it all out there. The Republican Party, I don't know they don't even have a plan. The only thing they do is don't present a plan. They just talk about wokeness, or they talk about, about Ukraine, how it's a waste of time. That's fine. Complain about it. But tell me what their plan is. No one can. They have no plan. So until they have a plan about infrastructure, until they have a plan about the veterans and about, the student debt that Biden's trying to forgive. I mean, I know some don't agree with it, but there's millions of other people that are swamped with student debt who's trying to still work. And
I don't support any bailout, whether it's bankers or individuals, but I would much rather the U.S. government spend however many billions to erase all student loan debt than to spend half the money on the shit that they're doing now.
Right. But I get it. But do you know who's throwing this? You know who's eating? Biden
corporations pay 15% like the rest of it.
But the problem is
Biden can't even ask for $10,000 of student debt. Do you think he would actually be able to present a bill that says wipe out completely all student debt? He can't even get this one from the Republican Party to be supported by. The Republican Party's even took it to the Supreme Court.
Now, I was going to say you can't blame the Republican Party because there was never a vote on it.
Well, there was three states ran by Republican governors who refused to allow this to come, into effect in their states, and they took it up. But the point is, it was definitely Republican based and supported. and it's before the Supreme Court. Actually, it was a couple of weeks ago, and they're going to rule on it, from my knowledge. But the point is, that's just $10,000 in debt. So it's you can only do so much.
But where does that money come from, though?
Our finance nothing.
Well, it will come from
Right.
taxing the billionaires in the CEO positions that.
But I'm saying, like,
to.
Our inflation's already so high. I mean, our budgets increase every year exponentially.
Dude,
so like
that's the inflation's not high. I mean, we're not in
but they can't just keep printing money out of nowhere.
Yeah, inflation.
You know what I mean?
An all-time
don't you
high
understand?
right now.
Job growth is out the roof. Jobs are being created. They're not just it's being generated.
They're not counting the people. Once you're unemployed for 6 months, they don't count you anymore.
Off.
Yeah, you're off the docket.
Yeah, but that's how many? I mean, that's fine.
That's like million. I mean, how many people aren't getting a job? I mean, why exclude those people?
This is a historical.
Why to show that things are growing when you're excluding a whole people that are unemployed by definition? They do not have a job.
Well, it depends. What trait are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about there's a two-party
What jobs
system.
do they not have?
The system serves both parties. Neither one is better than the other. All it does is turn us against one another. We have career politicians that are concerned with only their well-being and each other's. They don't care about you and I, Shaman. They don't care. It doesn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican. They don't care.
Let me ask you, what party supported civil rights in the 60s?
It was Republican. Oh, I thought he was going to say slavery. It was Republicans for slavery, but I'm sure it was Democrats. What
party supported the Affordable Care Act?
I really don't know. But I know that the parties now
actually
only serve themselves. They don't serve the people.
Actually, more Democrats voted against the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I mean, you had, yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me because when I found out that fact about slavery, I thought Democrats.
You're telling me
people like
Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King was a Republican, dude.
Yeah. I forgot he was a minister. But you're telling me that the civil rights, more Republicans voted on that. Well, that's fine. So be it. I mean, but the point is, the original bill wasn't.
I don't like to get tangled up with Republican, Democrat, whatever party. To me, it does not matter.
Yeah,
I don't like getting into it.
Here's the thing: the only reason I'm saying it matters is because we got to know what our senators are voting on, right? Would you agree? We should know what our congressmen.
I don't think they know what they're voting for. They're only voting to serve their own purposes. These banks that fell this week, they're going to put that on our backs. They're going to put it on our kids' backs. It's going to be on the taxpayers for fucking ever. They're going to bail them out again like they always have. Don't tell me it's going to be Democrats are going to change it. It's going to be the same fucking thing as it ever was.
The same ones that are okay with
it doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican. It will be the same.
That needs a hand. And it happened.
But here's the thing. You know what party took the regulations away?
I don't care what party it was. They both fucking suck.
But I disagree.
They're terrible. This two-party system is terrible. It only serves to turn people against one another.
It doesn't have to. To me, you can.
But you cannot see a Republican side of this in a positive light in any way, shape, or form. I can tell that by the way
I go by what it has been voted on. That's evidence. This is not a bias. And all the social issues that we care about are predominantly supported by a Democratic Party. That's just facts. That's not saying anything biased. We can search that right now.
Well, I'm just a disillusioned individual who believes that both parties only serve themselves and each other and their own interests. They have no interest in me or my family or yours. And the system is broken. It's time that people figure out ways to govern themselves instead of depending on career politicians, people who campaign year after year, getting money from lobbies and pharmacy companies and
Joe Biden.
Biden
has never had a job outside of government. He's been in the government since the 70s.
Yeah,
and not to point out just Joe Biden, because
every
politician
family.
is a
he came
lawyer.
From a lower
They're all
lawyers.
Yeah.
He knows what it means to work hard. He's seen it from his father, and there's nothing wrong with being educated. Millions of dollars definitely wasn't handed to him, right? He definitely earned his way. Obama, though, started work when he was 15 years old at a Baskin Robbins, and people said he was a communist. and an elite.
I don't look too much into the backstories of these people or what I'm presented, because I always believe that things are not as what they seem. I think I'm presented
No.
a
If you
facade
think
most of the time.
if you think Obama had any control over half of anything that he was doing, or any president for that matter, I mean, you got another thing coming. I mean, if our president died today, the system would keep rolling just as is.
It'd be exactly the same.
Yeah,
I do not believe there's a change of power. I don't care who gets voted in, what party they run for. I don't believe there's ever a peaceful exchange of power.
This is all conspiratorial.
It's just business as usual.
Evidence
I'm not
whatsoever.
saying it's conspiratorial. I'm saying it's business as usual, and that's been fact. Anytime I got excited about someone like Barack Obama, I got so excited about Barack Obama, and it was the same shit. It was the same thing. There's wars. There's more wars. It was the same thing. It doesn't matter what party. They are all terrible. They have proven it over and over to me again and again. I will never place any measure of hope or anything into any politician. Never, ever.
So right now, what form of government would you rather be under?
It would be nice to have people that want to affect change and vote for love and inclusion and interest of healthcare and well-being.
How about a system that's not run by the rich people?
Yeah, it's all about more money, because like I said, these banks that fell this week, the Silicon Valley, I guarantee you they got tons of money invested in Bitcoin and all this stuff that doesn't even exist. And you and I are going to pay for it. Yeah. We're all going to pay for it again, just like we did in 2008. And it's just, it is over and over and over. Go ahead.
What got me about the too big to fail was that how much money did we send to the banks, and then who was it? GM wanted 25 million.
Yeah, and they all take bonuses.
And it took but they paid that loan back with interest, and they paid it back early. But when they said, okay, let's help these guys on the assembly line out, guys in the UAW or whatever, for 25 million was a drop in the bucket compared to what they just gave to the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all that stuff. Right. And DC lost their minds over it. I mean, it was like, no, we can't just go around and handing out blank checks, everybody. And there was a double standard there, is what I was saying. It's like, when
it really comes down to it, it's not really a black and white thing. It's not a black and white ordeal, and I think humans aren't black and white either. Not every human is perfectly good or perfectly bad. Not every party is perfectly good or perfectly bad. I think there's people in government that are trying. They're also, you've got to navigating that. I heard Arnold Schwarzenegger talk once. He said it was so hard to get stuff in government he couldn't believe it. He said he barely got one thing done, and and I think that's the issue. And I think it's good to have checks and balances too. But I think when we have, what gets attention is money. What gets attention is influence. And I hope that the politics will divide this podcast. I need you guys to make up. Also, it's 10 o'clock. We'll keep on talking about this. It's okay to have healthy debates. It's okay to all this. It's okay for us to have this. I mean, that's what makes this right. If we all said the same thing and agreed, we'd be in an echo chamber, and I don't hear any echoes today. So what I want,
gabble one of us, gabble one of us.
Yeah, I love all of you. I don't want. I think we all need to have a hug. Everybody put their arms out.
Dude, everything's good, bro.
Yeah, dude, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, what are you talking about, man? We're good.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you being aware of the situation.
Yeah. That was good. What's funny is that
we're not snowflakes, C-Square. We can handle a little.
That's when I shut down. I'm like, let's see what's going on Instagram. So listen, if the Michael Jackson's glove and the Chef Boyardee glove can get together, then we can too.
What?
Yeah.
With that said, love or no love, that's your choice. Thank you for listening to the Invisible Wires podcast. You can email us at invisiblewirespodcast@gmail.com. You can interface with us on Instagram at invisible_wires. We appreciate you listening, and we hope you have a great week.